Look at while loops in JavaScript. So let's start by having an example. It's a very simple example, just demonstrating how to write a while loop here. So we have the while keyword, and after the while keyword we'll have a round bracket here, and then we'll have a variable for our iteration. So let's say I is less or equal to 5, so it's gonna print a value for us 5 times, and in here we'll have our document dot write, and this will first write the i's for us, so I, and then we move to our iteration, which is I plus plus. So we say let this equal to 1. So sorry, let me add the I here. So let I equal to 1, and if I is less or equal to 5, then print these ones on the screen, which is the value here, and then add up to the number up to 5, then it stops. Okay, so let me see, let I equal to 1 while I is less or equal to 5. Okay, then we have the document dot print or document dot write. Okay, let's say we want to have a p tag in here, so let's say the number is I. Let's concatenate this and p in here. Okay, so let's run this. Trying to figure out where the problem is. So we have document that's right, and then we have, oh, I'm using 1 here instead of I, so this is where the magic is. Great. So now we have the number is 1, and then we have the number is 2 up to 5, because we specify 5 here in our condition. But what if we specify 6 here? Then we're gonna have our print show 6 times on the screen. So this is how to implement a while loop. What about we're looking at what we call the do while? The do while is almost the same like this, but what happens is you need to do something before the condition actually executes. So instead of this one starting here, we can simply move this down here, and then we have our do. Very easy, right? So gonna print almost the same, but what happened here is this condition execute last in the execution time. So that is the only difference between the do while and then the while loop. Then let's look at loops in general. For loop. So let's look at for loop. For loop, we can simply use the for keyword for that. So let's say we have for here, and then let I is equal to 1, just like what we did. The same logic, but using for loop. Then we say I is less or equal to 5, and then we bring the iteration here, which is I plus plus, so incremental, sorry. Then we have this one here. So the same thing we've implemented in the do and do while loop, and then the do while, then we're doing that in the for loop. Great. So for this, let's have a p tag, and then after a p tag we say the number is okay. Then let's add a concatenation, which is the I, and then we have another p tag here to close it. Then let me terminate this. All right. So let me see any other mistake here. So for I is equal to 1, and then I have I less or equal to 5, then I have I not 1 I. Okay, great. All right, so we have similar thing displaying on the screen, just like what we have for the do while and then the while loop. Okay, so what if we want to do a for in loop? For in, we have tried another for loop here, but there's another way we can also do it that is helping us to use a simple something.length to also iterate it. So it's gonna be the same like we have here, but let's say we have an array of fruits, and in that array we have, first let's say we have apple there, then let's say we have banana, then let's say we have orange. Okay, then we want to use the for in loop to also display this. What we have to do is to use the same for, and instead to use the I is less than equal to 5, we can simply do is equal to fruits dot the length, because this will count the number of values inside the array. So dot length plus plus plus, then here instead to display only the I, we're gonna do fruit I rather. So let me have the I in here, then I'll attach the fruit variable to it. Simple as ABCD. So we go there, and then we have the number is, but let's say the fruit is this. The fruit is banana. The fruit is orange, and the fruit is undefined. Okay, so now let's look at fruits dot okay, so we have dot length 1 2 3, so we have 1 2 3, but orange does not display on the screen. Let me see what will be the problem. We are starting from 1. Oh, so 0 1 2. Okay, so instead to start from 1, let's start from 0 here, so there will be no undefined there. Let me see, 1 2 3, and then we got, oh, because we're using I is less or equal to, so there will be one additional one, but let's do I is less than fruit. So yeah, so this condition will help you display only the values inside the string, inside the array. So let's look at another one. JavaScript iterate over an array using a loop. So let's say we want to iterate this using a loop. Okay, so let's have the same variable, or no, let's change this into an object. So we say person, and person will have a name. Turning this into an object, person will have a name. Yeah, we can say the name. So we got this one, name. Okay, then we have, let's say this is first name, and then we have last name. Okay, so let me end this with this, but we're gonna use curly bracket for this. Okay, so we have last name, first name, and all that. I'm using double bracket for that. That should be fine, but at least it should look a little bit nice in there. So now we're gonna use a different way of looping through this. So we'll say let's the props, which is the properties in person. So this is simply like a variable which holds our iteration. Then we'll print out let me clear this so it looks a little bit meaningful. So we'll be having this will be equal to so we'll have prop here, concatenate, and then we'll have persons, person, then we have props here. Okay, so we have first name is equal to Mary, then last name is equal to orange, because that is what we have here. So we can say Frank, Mary Frank. Okay, so this is another way of iterating through a loop by having a person and a person's first name to Mary, last name to Frank. Then we say let prop in person, so let this variable hold values in this person as it checks all everything inside. Then you first print the props, which is first name, last name, and then you print the person, that's the names itself here, then it displays on the screen. So this is how we can easily loop through objects we have in loops in JavaScript. Okay, so what if we want to also loop through another one using an I? So the same thing, we can change this a little bit. Maybe we can use the same prop, but we can change it to an array. Let's change this person to an array. So to change it to an array, we can simply use the square brackets for this, and then we're gonna leave only the names in here. So we'll leave Mary, and then we'll leave Frank in there. Okay, so we got Mary and Frank. And then the same way we can still look through this even if it is an array. So it can be anyhow we want to loop it through. But you see, this is using it index of 0 and the index of 1. So that is how we can simply look through it. But if we don't want the index to show and we only want to show the values, then we can clear this side off, for example this, and then only the values will show on the screen without the indexes. So this is loops in JavaScript. Loops, and then while loops, do while, and then iterations in